So when it comes down to things like lockdown, where we can't do anything and your chiropractors are kind of panicking and what to do, what should I do, how do I engage my clients, and worrying about what's going to happen to their existing practice and the practice in the future, going through this whole COVID problems, this is going to come and go, right? So let's figure out exactly what to do and what you can do during these lockdown period times or any time we're being restricted. But actually, when it comes down to it, these are the things you should be doing on a regular basis anyways, whether there is restrictions, whether there are lockdowns. So let's get right on to the show. Hey there, I'm Dr. Laurence Tham here for your chiro coach, really helping you to become a profit practice and a freedom practice. Our deal here is when we're talking about things like lockdowns. Right now I'm in Sydney and we've been locked down for the last 5 to 6 weeks now, and we still got at least another 4 weeks to go. And people in Victoria have been locked down for many, many months, and everywhere else in the world it seems to be lockdowns. And sometimes you're some of you guys in Europe and North America seems to be free, but hey, who knows what's going to happen? The idea here is that most people kind of panic when it comes to what happens during a lockdown and what should I do? And that's the fundamental question. And my rationale thinking is like, yeah, there's plenty of things to do, and I'm sure most of you are already doing it. But really, what this video I want to show you is I want you to think about it differently, maybe. And the reality is that I want you to think of it from why are you doing it in the first place? Because that is more important question, right? Most of the time is that people are asking that question, like, what should I do? They're thinking more from a rescuing, panicky type of mode. But is that why you should be doing it? And I think that that's coming from that type of mindset really changes the type of ideas and the strategy you actually apply. And I want you to kind of maybe reframe it, help you reframe it. And it may just now, you might do something similar, but now it's going to come off on a different angle. So we'll come and talk through some ideas a minute later, but I want you to walk through some mindset. I'm going to give you sort of 3 rules of what you should be really thinking about. The idea here is really kind of coming from 3 specific things, right? So the idea is I want you to think about is going through in 3 modes. So number 1 is I want you to think about, first thing to do is really to understand the mindset of what you're doing. So what really helps you is to understand is that you should be reprioritizing. And sorry if I spelled that wrong, but reprioritizing. What does that mean? Well, reprioritizing is meaning like you got to figure out why are you doing this? Why are you worrying about what to do right now? Are you rescuing your patients? Are you trying to help your patient? Are you trying to make sure your practice stays afloat? What are you doing this for? And I think reprioritizing that target to be going to, that's going to establish your why. And that why is so important because the why now, reprioritizing, allows you to do one thing and one thing specific. It tells you what strategies you're going to be deploying. Because once you know that your intention should be, right, more about making sure that your patients are okay. And number 2 is that you are building loyalty and trust with your patients. You're going to come around, you're going to do the actions you're going to take and the strategy you're going to take is going to completely be different if you're just doing it I just want to make sure my patient's going to stay with me. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So that's really important when you really think about that. And the second thing here, I think that's going to be super important is that you need to do what we call a review. And this is just an overall strategy to kind of consider. The review is that it could be anything from reviewing your patient's files and really reviewing who are my top clients, who are the acute clients right now, right? There should be a hit list of the acute clients that you've been seeing in the last month who are obviously acute because they just came to you with specific problems that need help. And who are my VIPs? People are consistently putting trust in me, and I need to make sure that they feel like they're being heard or feeling like I'm taking care of them, right? Those should be top list, and then your regulars, and then the inactives in that particular order. So you want to start reviewing some files maybe. Why am I asking you to do that? If you think about reviewing files, then you're going to know who are the priorities I need to connect with. And this is the 3rd element here, which is about reconnecting. Right? The thing is with lockdowns or restrictions is that you're limited to the ability to be able to get to them. And what it means to get to them, meaning that's really connecting to them on a regular basis. And so what the review now becomes the what, and the reconnect becomes the how. And how you do that, of course, is determined by your why. Why are you doing this in the first place? When you can learn to reprioritize what you're about to do, and then you can build your strategy by reviewing the kind of clients you need to have, that you need to want to connect with, and then you can actually take the actions to reconnect. This is going to help you develop the right strategies to deploy. So let's kind of go back to each one and going, you could, by the way, the review doesn't have to be reviewing your files. It could be reviewing your practice right now, and to making sure that there's all the systems are working when there's not as many people, or maybe you're not seeing or maybe you're not seeing people at all. This is a good time to work on, make those tweaks, make those 1% changes, even 5% changes in the practice that you didn't ever have time for, right? But let's kind of stick with the patients here, right? So if you're going to reprioritize and knowing that my why is to really helping making sure I build loyalty, and trust, if that's my why, then it's going to make my job a little bit easier when I'm looking at the review. I'm going to start off with my hit list of the people that I'm going to connect with, right? The hit list. Who are my top priorities? Who are my top 100 people that I need to make sure I connect with? Well, the how is then, well, depending on who those 100 people are. Is it going to be, a phone call? Obviously more, that would be better, right? A phone call, a personal phone call with each person, not to go, hey, you need to come back, or not to say, by the way, I'm an essential service, you should come to see me. No, that's all self-serving. What you need to do is make a phone call and going, hey, wanted to make sure I check up on you because obviously you had that accident 2 weeks ago and I want to make sure that you're doing okay. How are you doing? And then you can end off. It goes, by the way, let's let you know that we are an essential service right now. We are able to open. So if you want to come in, we're going to be open during these times to help you through this process. So don't be afraid to kind of come in. These are all the things we're going to be doing to make sure that your safety is protected. This is what I need you to do. So whatever your restrictions are in your practice, and then go from there, right? Notice that the priorities now, right? That's why I'm saying reprioritize. Right, priority is about getting this patient care and making sure that they are taken care of, right? Not about you. So you're moving yourself out of the equation and more focus on the service of others, which is the most important thing here. And so this is why I really kind of recommend is that you kind of figure this out in that particular order. 1, 2, and 3 is to kind of decide on exactly how to do that. It could be an email, right? Not as personal, but easier, but not as personal. So you kind of have to toss up, if I'm going to do a social media post, all right, again, it's going down the road. Like each one of these are getting less and less effective, right? And less personalized. So then you got to go back to your why and go, what am I trying to do? If I'm trying to build loyalty and trust, then I'm going to focus on high level stuff rather than low level stuff. Right? I'm not saying that I won't do any of these other things, Instagrams and social media posts and all that stuff. I'm not saying I wouldn't do that, but if my priority is to create loyalty and brand and trust with my patients and my community, then I'm going to make the time to make those phone calls. And sure, I'm still seeing patients, but I'm going to carve out an hour, 30 minutes, an hour a day to make a call. I'm going to call as many people as I possibly can each day. Trust me. It'll be the work that you do during those moments when people are struggling, people are in fear, and people have anxiety, they have ambiguity, and you can create clarity and you can create direction and give them hope and give them actions to do and help them through that process. They're going to be the ones who will thank you later on. So your decision is up to you. Are you doing the practice? Are you trying to build a profit practice, which is about building a long existing practice that you can win for a lifetime, or are you just trying to win the next week? That's your choice. I'm here to help people build a profit practice overall, to help them build a sustainable practice and have a career out of it, not just be able to just win small little wins each week and having a great week. So you get to decide. And those decisions, the strategy you choose is going to dictate the results that you can have. So if this has been helpful, please like it. Please go check out the podcast of Your Chiro Coach. Go to YouTube video and then check this out. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Comment below. And more importantly, share this with others because I think this is helpful. Having a reframe on how you think about this process is really going to predicate the decisions and strategy you're going to deploy, which then has a massive impact on the practice you're actually going to have. If you need help with any of this stuff to help you build a profit practice or a freedom practice, you know where to reach me. Give me a call and let's see if you qualify.
It's all well and good to have a successful practice, but in the grand scheme of things, I want to make an impact.
The biggest thing that it's enabled me to do is to develop better relationships with people.
The reason I joined was because I was feeling a bit isolated in practice.
Now I feel like I have a tribe.
Laurence definitely provides a really good insight from outside of my square.
You really start to find your true identity. When you're part of a group that supports you, which is what I feel Nitro does, you get some quality results.
I was caught up in the hustle side of chiropractic, so now having that freedom, still being just as busy and even more successful.
I think that we all elevate and rise together.
Really allows me to face my own fears and blockages.
It's about being with like-minded people, but being about people who want the same thing, which is like this willingness to support each other and hold each other accountable at the same time.
We went from seeing an average of 140, 150 people to seeing now 250 people.
I do have the confidence to, have that voice and make those changes. And I definitely wouldn't have been able to do that without Nitro.
It's not trying to create me to be something else. It's trying to create me to be the best version of me.